CIET and CERT presents Galileo Galilei, the genius who changed our worldview, his trial in Rome.
If there is any one single person who can be said to have created modern science, it has got to be the all-time great Galileo, a 17th century Italian intellectual and scientist. Albert Einstein called him the father of modern science. He was the one who saw further than others into the far reaches of the universe.
I decided to stand openly alone on the theatre of the world to bear witness to the sober truth. And I believe that good philosophers, like eagles, fly alone, not in flocks like starlings. And I wanted people to understand that nature not only gave them eyes to see her work, but also brains to make them capable of understanding it.
A true creative genius and remarkably skillful, Galileo has many firsts to his credits. Each and every scientific invention deserves him a sure place in the records of history. Galileo Galilei was born in Pisa on February 18th in the year 1564, the same cold winter day that Michelangelo died.
If Michelangelo represented the last of the Renaissance, Galileo was born to the world of Reformation, a world where each morning reaffirmed the common view that the sun moved around the earth. This belief was confirmed as the sun appeared to pass overhead each day. At the center of this view of the universe sat the static earth, the home of human beings. The sun was just one of the many heavenly bodies which circled endlessly around it.
Galileo had read Copernicus. He adopted the view that Copernicus was right. The sun, not the earth, was the center of our planetary system. Months passed as he struggled for a way to prove it.
With absolute necessity, I had to accept the theory of Copernicus. I cannot give any other explanation of the phases of Venus except that the sun is in the center and Venus and Earth both are going about the sun. No longer do we have to endure any argument, however feeble, from persons whose philosophy had been badly upset by this new arrangement of the universe.
And then, at the end of 16th century, in 1571, Johann Kepler, a German astronomer who was born 7 years after Galileo Galilei, discovered that all the planets went round the sun and not in circles, but in elliptical orbits.
But the argument was just beginning, and Galileo utterly misjudged the opposition. Opportunistic priests announced from the pulpits that Galileo was spouting dangerous new ideas. About half a dozen biblical passages seemed to suggest that it was the sun which moved, not the earth.
This is what Cardinal Baronius said.
The Bible teaches one how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go.
Scripture cannot err. We can err in our understanding of it. Nature cannot contradict the Bible, and if it appears to do so, it is because we do not adequately understand the deeper biblical interpretation. Scripture serves a more important purpose. Now, I should have added that though the Scripture never errs, its interpreters and expounders are liable to err in many things when they base themselves always on the literal meaning of words.
Winter of 1616, Galileo was convinced that the geocentric theory was wrong. He journeyed to Rome to try to argue his case.
Gloria in excelsis Deo, et in terra pax hominibus.
Perched on a hill overlooking the city, from his balcony, Galileo could see the domes of the Vatican as he eagerly awaited his meeting with the saintly inquisitor, Cardinal Robert Bellarmine, a leading scholar in Catholic Counter-Reformation. Bellarmine was an intelligent man and was in fact equal to Galileo.
My experiments prove that the Copernicus heliocentric system is correct.
Be careful about these lies.
When the theologians were merely thinking of prohibiting Copernicus' book, I held it to be true, knowing as I do, guided as they are by a higher insight than my humble brain could ever attain to. I declared my former defense to be merely a poetical conceit, a dream, a fancy of my own, a mere chimera.
I cannot tolerate this. We have finished here.
With the stroke of a quill, the Church had banned Copernicus and for now muzzled Italy's greatest scientist. If there were to be a struggle between religion and science, religion had won the first round.
To ban Copernicus seems, in my judgment, to be a contravention of truth, even when his theories are couched in mysteries so sublime and concepts so profound that the most acute minds have still not pierced them.
If the Earth is hurtling through space, why can't we feel the movement? Galileo seized on the paradox that the Earth could spin on its axis fast enough to cause day and night without people sensing the motion.
Galileo made the difficult 2-week journey to Rome, specially to meet with the Pope. The Pope and Galileo walked around in the Vatican gardens, talking about various things. And of course, one of the things they talked about was whether or not Galileo could publish on the Copernican theory.
Yes.
One week later, 5th of March, 1616, and he was ordered by the Pope neither to hold nor defend the heliocentric system, as long as he limited himself neither in speech nor in writing about it merely as a hypothesis ex suppositione and not an established truth, there would be no problem. So, as long as the Copernican view that the Earth moved around the Sun was presented only as a hypothesis, one theory among many, Pope would allow it to be debated, and Galileo reluctantly agreed. Galileo is forced to turn his back on Copernicus, whose book is officially added to the index of prohibited books.
Now, 60 years old elderly Galileo threw himself into his big book on cosmology. The Pope had given him license to embark on what he hoped would be his most important work. Writing in Italian, not Latin, laying out his most persuasive evidence in a witty and popular style, Galileo could win over everyone who read it to the Copernican worldview. Months of writing stretched on as sickness interrupted his work. Finally, after 5 years, the end was in sight.
By the grace of God, I have got on the right path. The book will be in the manner of a dialogue. If I can just survive this winter, I shall bring it to an end and publish it immediately.
Galileo finished his great book on the Christmas Eve, 1629. It was called Dialogue, concerning the two chief systems of the world, the Ptolemaic and Copernican. It is a scientific masterpiece discussing the nature of the universe. The cover had a figure showing Aristotle on the left, Ptolemy in the middle, and Copernicus on the right side. Galileo explains the new view of the world.
Anyone who thinks it reasonable for the whole universe to move in order to let the earth remain fixed is as irrational as one who climbs to the top of a cupola just to view the city and its environs, and then demands that the whole countryside revolve around him so that he does not have to take the trouble to turn his head.
May 1632, Galileo's book is published, and immediately it invokes rage.
The Inquisition served a paper on Galileo, ordering him to appear in Rome. October 1632, the Catholic Church brings formal charges against Galileo. The old man tried to delay his trip by claiming ill health. By Christmas, Galileo was again ordered to appear. He could come voluntarily, or he would be brought in chains.
The ill Galileo left Arcetri to stand trial in Rome. Thanks to the Medici family, he travelled in a litter, a carriage on poles held by strong porters.
I think we must go very slow.
Be careful, he may fall down on me because he was too much sick. Very impossible to reach Rome.
Although this allowed him to lie down, it was still a bumpy journey that took almost 2 weeks.
Year 1633. His trial order finally arrived on 12th of April. Though 69 years old, physically ailing, weak and infirm, he was still the intellectual star of Italy.
Galileo was brought before the Inquisitor for the first time.
Galileo, son of the late Vincenzio Galilei, Florentine, 70 years of age, sworn to testify the truth. Galileo Galilei, by what means and how long ago did you come to Rome?
What? I came to Rome on the first Sunday.
State whether you know or can guess at the reason that you were ordered to come.
I would imagine that I was ordered to present myself before the Holy Office to give an account of my recently printed book.
State whether, if you were shown the said book, you would recognize it as yours.
I hope so. Yes. If I was shown it, I hope I would recognize it.
There was shown to him a book printed at Florence in the year 1632 with the title Dialogue by Galileo Galilei, etc.
I know this book very well. And I acknowledge it as mine. And I acknowledge all it contains as having been written by me.
Let Galileo state what the most eminent Cardinal Bellarmine told him about the decision of the Holy Congregation of the Index on a certain day in the year 1616.
The prosecutors produced a critical document, the official record of damaging piece of evidence that showed that Cardinal Bellarmine had prohibited him to do. His book was meant not to support Copernicus, but represent the views of both sides.
The Inquisition limited the trial to two simple questions of fact. Did the late Cardinal Bellarmine forbid Galileo to advocate Copernicus when the two faced each other 16 years earlier? And had Galileo violated the Cardinal's injunction by writing his dialogue?
What a blasphemy! What a blasphemy! He must be punished.
It seems that he is mad.
Yes, he seems to be so.
God will never forgive him.
It's a shame.
He is right.
Do you have any statement to make in your defense?
No.
Do you, Galileo Galilei, hold the opinion that the earth moves about the sun?
I do not.
Do you hold that the sun is the center of the world and does not move?
I do not.
Do you hold that the earth rotates on its axis as it moves?
I do not. I have not held these Copernican ideas since I was told that they were false. I am an old man. Do with me what you will.
It's a shame.
He is right.
We will punish you here on earth, and God will punish you there after life.
Let's see what the court decides.
And again, the same three questions were asked.
But what the powerful Catholic Church wanted Galileo to acknowledge in public, that his heliocentric theory is erroneous and rash. In Rome, the heart of the